1.2 Functions and their graphs. Our goals for this chapter are to sketch graphs of equations and then find x and y intercepts of graphs of equations. So the graph of an equation is a set of all points that are solutions of the equation. So we just need to remember that. So example 1, we're going to determine solution points. Determining solution points. Determine whether 2, 13, and -1, -3 lie on the graph of y equals 10x minus 7. So all you need to do is plug in the points and see if you get something that is true. So let's try 2, 13, so that's x and y, and so we just plug it in for our x and y values. So y is 13 equals 10 times 2 minus 7. So we want to see if this is true. So we get 13 equals 20 minus 7. 13 equals 13. So yes, this is a solution. So let's try -1, -3. So y is -3 equals 10 times -1 minus 7. So -3 equals -10 minus 7. So that definitely does not equal. So -1, -3 is not a solution. So go ahead and try this example. Determine whether 3, -5 and -2, 26 lie on the graph of y equals 14 minus 6x. Go ahead and pause the video and I'll show the answers when you come back. Okay, if you tried it out, the first one is no. You get -5 does not equal -4, and then the second equation does work out. So now let's try to sketch the graph of an equation. We have 3x plus y equals 7. So one way to do this is to plug in points. And so what we want to do is we want to solve. So we have 3x plus y. And so let's just make it y equals -3x plus 7, right? And so that's what we have here. And actually, if you don't need to plug in the points, that's fine. In the book, it may ask you to plug in a table. So just know that's what you are doing. But I know to graph this, you just start at the y-intercept, which is 7. And then the slope is -3, so down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1, and so forth. Okay, but you could solve it. If it asks you to fill in the table, then do so. So the next thing, let's go ahead and try example 3, sketch the graph of this function. You could also plug in values in here. It is plugging in values here. So let's go ahead and try that. So -2 squared minus 2. So -2 squared, that's a +4 minus 2. So therefore that is a 2. So this is -2 and then +2. If you plug in -1, that would be 1 minus 2. So that would be -1. And then you plug in 0, you would get -2. And then you would get 1 minus 2 is -1 again. And then you plug in 2, you would get 2, 2. And you plug in 3, you would get 9 minus 2, which is 7. Okay, so then you can go ahead and plot those points. Or if you remember transformations, this just means that it's the parabola shifted down 2 from the origin. Then you could use the pattern. So A is 1, so the pattern is 1, 3, 5. So from the vertex, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 3, right 1, up 5. Then the next one would be right 1, up 7. Okay, so you just need to be able to graph the parabola. So that's it for this portion. And the next one, we'll go over finding intercepts.